Hey everyone, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I am back with the start of a brand new series. You'll never guess the game that I'm going to be covering. Oh wait, it's right there. Yeah, it's Gloomhaven. Um, but we're not going to be covering the board game because Gloomhaven is an amazing game with an incredible amount of kind of overhead on it in terms of playing it, particularly solo, and on tabletop it would just be a nightmare to film. It would be an absolute nightmare. But luckily, the handy dandy full campaign for the original Gloomhaven game just came out on PC. Gloomhaven on PC has been in early access, I want to say, for like a year, but it was kind of crappy. It was mostly kind of just like this fake little mini mission setup. You couldn't actually play the campaign from the game, but they recently put out the game in fully released it out of early access, and added the campaign. And I have played through the entire tutorial just to kind of familiarize myself, and I can tell you it's really good. It's really slick and really just lets the player focus on the tactical combat and decision making and choices and such, instead of focusing on, did I remember to infuse fire in the last round or whatever. The game is going to take care of all that for me. So my plan is, I'm going to start this is going to be a series. I'm going to play through this whole campaign. That being said, I've had lots of plans for this channel. Almost none of them have really worked out the way I expected. I had a beautiful video I was going to post about Dune Imperium, and it got corrupted somehow on my phone and I lost it. So that went down the crapper. I still haven't posted another episode of Marvel United X-Men Who Dis, although I will at some point. So plans change, we'll see, but I wanted to at least give this a shot and show you all just how slick this really is, because I was kind of blown away, even just in the tutorial. So let's get right into it. This first video is primarily going to be about kind of campaign setup, and then I think the next video I'll cover the first mission, the Black Barrow mission play session. Just a little bit of background on me and my kind of relationship with Gloomhaven. I've had Gloomhaven almost since it came out, basically. I somehow managed to find a copy locally that by going to every board game store within a 50-mile radius. I found a copy years ago when it had just gotten delivered to backers of the original Kickstarter, and I love it. I've played it up to, I want to say I've gotten maybe 20 missions in. That's about as far as I've gotten. I've tried playing it with various groups, and the group always falls apart, or I'll go back and I'll try and restart the campaign and try with a different character. And so I haven't gotten deep into Gloomhaven. I've never even unlocked one of the extra classes in the game, which is a mechanic that hopefully at some point you'll see in this play through series. But I've played a lot of it. I've played Jaws of the Lion. I've played, the original Gloomhaven. I have the expansion. I'm looking forward to Frosthaven. Although, to be honest, after playing this PC version, I don't think I'm going to buy the physical copy of it. I'm going to play it when it comes out on this game, in this game as an expansion or whatever, because it's so slick and it just is so easy to play compared to Gloomhaven. Even with Gloomhaven Helper, the app, which is to my mind an absolute must-have for playing Gloomhaven at all, because the game is just an unmanageable mess by default. Even with the app, it's still so much harder than this is going to be, and you're getting the exact same gameplay experience in terms of the decision making and the tactics of the combat and whatnot. And that's really where Gloomhaven shines anyways. The components, to be honest, aren't that great. The card stock is kind of crap. The tiles are crap. They're boring and kind of lifeless. And, the monsters are all standees. And So that is really, that's, nobody plays Gloomhaven because it's such a beautiful production out of the box. They play it because of that crunchy tactical combat, and you're going to get all that out of this digital version, just minus all the kind of bullcrap. So let's jump in. I'm going to start a campaign. Yeah, I'm going to start a new campaign. Difficulty right off the bat. I think I'm just going to go with normal. Like I said, I do have an extensive amount of experience playing Gloomhaven at lower levels, so I'm going to go ahead and go with normal. And our guild, of course, will be the Grumpy Meeples. Each mercenary manages an individual amount of gold. This is a good question, actually, considering I'm playing solo. I really like that they include this as an option. I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, it's really more in the spirit of the original game, so let's go ahead. There's going to be voiceover and cutscenes and stuff, I assume, and I'm just going to let those play out as we go here.
Welcome to the harsh lands of Gloomhaven, recruit. You think you have what it takes to become a mercenary out there on the edge of the world? We are paid to venture into the darkest forests of the region and to step into ancient crypts with the unmistakable stench of death and rotting flesh. Lovely places to earn a name for yourself. Be ready to face cutthroats, undead, fearsome tribes, and dreadful demons from other realms. You didn't find yourself as a mercenary without knowing how to crack a few skulls, did you?
All right. Sorry, you might have heard some feedback there because I forgot to plug my headphones in, which I do often. Should be good now. Okay, before going into the harrowing wilderness surrounding Gloomhaven, you'll need at least 2 mercenaries in your party, brave or greedy enough to seek out adventures in exchange for gold. On your left, you'll find the party panel. Here you'll see the basic information of the mercenaries in your party. Click on the first character slot to open the roster panel. Okay. You can create, view, and add mercenaries to the current party. Right now it's looking as barren as the Copperneck Mountains. Love that. So best click on New Mercenary to create your first character. Yeah, I will do that. Thank you. Next, you'll choose one of the starting character classes. Each one has unique abilities and game style. As you progress, you'll level up, earning new ability cards and unlock more classes. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I love this. It gives you a little kind of... Oh, good choice. Remember, looks aren't everything. Mercs' ability cards are what define their actions in battle. You can click on the starting ability cards button to make sure this is the right mercenary for your party. Once you're sure, select mercenary. Yeah, this, oh my god, this is so nice, guys. If you've ever played Gloomhaven, you know you have those stupid little cardboard boxes with all the cards and you're changing out. Oh, do I want to use one of his X abilities instead? And you have to edit the freaking modifier deck, and if you screw any of it up, it screws the game up. This is so nice to have this just like laid out for you. So we're looking at the Brute here. He's a little bit tanky. He's got some shield abilities. He's got some retaliate abilities. He's got at least one jump ability so he can get around. Does a little bit of pushing. Yeah, right here. This is his tankiest ability. Any enemy who targets one of your adjacent allies with an attack this round targets you with it instead, regardless of the attack's range. You can use this to screw stuff up where they're in range to melee hit your Spellweaver and you're 2 steps away. So they have to attack you, but they can't. So you can trick them. I always play as a Brute, basically. I really like the class, so I think I'll definitely go with this as one of my characters. So here's the description. The Brute employs his great size and strength to earn a living by wielding his huge sword and impressive shield for those who pay the most. Brutes are best used as frontline melee troops, absorbing damage and protecting the more fragile range damage dealers, and are best equipped with items that keep them alive longer. Yeah. Starting perks, difficulty, even give you a little difficulty rating. Oh, and the strengths and weaknesses. This is beautiful. This isn't even information that's easily available, like in the board game, to be honest. To my memory, I'm sure it's buried somewhere in the rulebook, but that rulebook is... It's not Midara sized, but it's pretty big. There's a lot to kind of remember. So, strengths, high health, defensive abilities, access to disarm and stun, good at moving enemies around. Yep. Not the greatest conversationalist. This is great. Alright, so we're going to go with a brute. We're going to name him... I'm not sure, there's some weird artifacting going on the screen here. It's a little odd. I'm going to name him... Skilgon. Because it sounds fucking metal. Okay, personal quest is the mercenary's sole reason for adventuring. Once the objective is completed, the merc will retire. Beware, when mercenaries retire, there will no longer be a playable character. So this is how you unlock new character classes. And again, I've never even kind of come close to this, so we'll see. Though farewells can often be bitter, some things have to move on to give way to new horizons. Completing personal quests and retiring mercenaries is the primary route to unlocking new character classes. Yes. I like the look of this. 3 spears. Greed is good. All you have to do is get 200 gold in your possession. That's a lot of gold. It's certainly doable. Eternal Wanderer, complete 15 different scenarios. This almost seems too easy, and I don't know what this class might be. This seems like some kind of an attacker. I think I'm gonna go with Greed is good. Skilgon has joined the party. That's 1 merc sorted, but you'll need a minimum of 2 mercenaries before you can go out seeking adventure. It's important to build a party of mercs who complement each other in battle. Click on the second character slot in the party panel and create a new character. Can't have more than 1 merc of the same character class. Yeah. So, you've got the Tinkerer. Decent ranged abilities, effective healer, wide range of options. They're very fragile, weak in small teams. Has trouble opening tight jars. So I feel like the Tinker is the closest thing you have to like a true healer. The Cragheart's got some healing. Spellweavers really don't. Cragheart's high health plus reasonable healing, decent melee and ranged options, lots of damage abilities to avoid shield and disadvantage. That's nice. And they're kind of a jack of all trades. Not strongest in any area. Hard to read facial expression. I'm sure it is. So I'm definitely going to take a Spellweaver because it's the only class I've never... the Spellweaver and the Mind Thief are the only 2 classes I haven't really gotten to play, so I'm going to take both of those. Alright, so the Spellweaver. Orchard Sage is able to draw forth powerful natural forces and craft them into concentrated attacks. Great at dealing out damage at range, but due to their low health are pretty fragile, so keep them out of combat. Spellweaver's most important ability is Reviving Ether, allowing her to burn more cards than other characters and recover them in an adventure, but be careful not to use it too early. Yeah, and that's this, which has this incredible ability that lets you recover all of your burned cards. So you can see this is the burned card image. A lot of her abilities, you're going to have to throw the card away. Burning the card means you can't use it anymore in that play session. But this is going to let you get that back. You can only use it 1 time, though. 1 time per mission. Yep. and you can't recover it. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with a Spellweaver. Good range damage dealing, reviving ether, recovers burned cards, decent early ranged summons. Low health, can die very fast. Requires complex ability management. Crystal skin makes it difficult to find a good tailor. Character name, I'm going to name you... I don't know. Margoth. I'm just making this shit up. I have no fucking reason for doing that. Oh, this looks interesting. That kind of looks like a sawbones saw, you know, like a healer. Piety in all things. Donate 120 gold to the Sanctuary of the Great Oak. Okay, I'm probably going to do this one because donating to the Sanctuary of the Great Oak is actually really nice. Trophy hunt. Kill 20 different types of monsters. Monsters specifically, though, that could... Enemies have different types, and I know, you know, like a lot of missions are going to be fighting bandits and such. I think I'm going to go Piety in all things. The wretched city of Gloomhaven is a writhing pit of vice and greed. You feel your lungs blacken with evil just by breathing the air, but still you agree to help out the fledgling Great Oak Sanctuary, so you must be strong. You will venture into the dens of sin surrounding this city and contribute as much as you can to raise up the city's sole beacon of hope. So I'm going to go with that. Woo! Time to do some adventuring. If you're confident with your current party, click on the center of the screen to close the party roster panel and head to the world map. I'm not. I want 4. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Is it not allowing me to... Before heading out on your first quest, you should gear up. After all, it's your first time out in the open. You'll notice each mercenary has a modest stash of gold. It's encouraged to take that money over to the merchant shop and spend it on anything that might just keep you from dying. Okay, well, that's all well and good, but what if I want more characters? Okay, so first of all, this map is incredible. This is definitely the legit Gloomhaven map. I feel like it's like forcing me through this tutorial, but it's not taking into account if I might actually want more characters. Remember, each mercenary has his or her own stash of gold and a personal inventory, so make sure you click on the right mercenary's portrait before you purchase an item. Yeah, I'm not doing that. What is this? So anyways, there's a bunch of items you could buy. It's all the basic starting items. And before I even get into that, I want to try and build my party out. Gloomhaven isn't known for its well-mannered folk and good Samaritans, but there's a lot to gain from its city streets. You can choose to partake in city encounters by clicking this button below. It's encouraged that you do this whenever you're in the city, as they often give good rewards. If you ever find a quest that looks too hard, or one you've repeatedly failed to complete, the Temple of the Great Oak can grant you its blessing for a fair price, of course. You can choose to access the temple using this button below. First quest location is marked just north of Gloomhaven. See it flagged with an icon, that's that. As you progress, more will open up, blah, blah, blah. You can embark upon a quest with up to 4 mercenaries, but the more mercs you bring, the more dangerous the quest will be. Once you set out for a quest, you won't be able to change the members of your party. Well, I know that. I don't care. I want more. Here we go. Alright, so we've got a Spellweaver. Mind Thief. Terrifying opponents through the use of psychic assaults, sharp blades, and swarms of tiny teeth. Unique augment system allowing her to add effects to all of her melee attacks. Control enemies and summon minions. Mind control, useful summons. Fragile melee character. Augment system, moderately complex. Often confused for a giant rat. The Tinkers are freaking badass. I'm taking a Tinker. I'm just going to call him Kaz. Whatever. Zealot of the Blood God. Okay. Become exhausted 12 times. That kind of sounds miserable. Exhausted is when you basically are out of a mission. The Thin Places complete 6 side scenarios. What is a side scenario? I suppose it's scenarios that just aren't on the main track. I think I'm going to go with this, the Thin Places. The air is thin in Gloomhaven. Well, not the air exactly, but whatever is behind the air. Like there's something on the other side, pressing and scratching to get out. This troubles you greatly. You've decided to travel to a number of locations in the surrounding area and study this phenomenon further. With luck, the air won't get any thinner. Yep. Alright, Kaz is in. Now the question really just is, do I want a 4th character? I think I'm going to stick with 3. I've got my tank, my ranged, and my healer, and I feel like that's a pretty good combo. Okay, so here we go. This is the world of Gloomhaven. So, just like in the physical game, you basically are unlocking these locations as you go. You'll unlock them for, you know, as rewards for quests and such. Okay, here you can see it calls Black Barrow a core quest. So it must be anything that's not on the main kind of pathway counts as a side quest. Now might be a good time to go through the Merc's ability cards and inventory to make sure they're battle ready. In the quest description, you can see the enemies you'll face. Hovering over them will reveal their stats. This is another really nice thing. It's so much easier to look at the stats for the various baddies and to kind of understand how they work instead of having to dig out the cards and look at them. I really do like this. Okay, well, I'm not actually interested in going there yet. I'm assuming that this just means this is where I am. Okay. So we're in Gloomhaven. Oh, yeah, beautiful. So you've got your incredible Gloomhaven map with very little actually unlocked on it yet. Let's do a city encounter to start us off. You are out in the Ward of Scales when you see a crowd of people forming to the south, growing louder and more dense by the second. As you approach, you see through the angry mob a terrified vermling being pulled in your direction by a group of gruff men. "Dirty thief!" a woman next to you screams. "String it up!" God, she's cold as ice. Glancing behind you to where the crowd appears to be headed, you see a disused gibbet in the market square. The men, clearly not guards, move closer. So do I want to save this vermling or let them hang this person? Dirty thief, string it up. What could he have possibly have stolen that is of enough value for that? This just seems like racism. Attempt to stop the crowd from hanging the vermling. Gloomhaven's prosperity has been influenced by your actions. Once enough prosperity is gained, Gloomhaven's wealth will increase. Increasing Gloomhaven wealth will unlock new items in the merchant shop and allow you to create new characters of a level equal or lower to the current Gloomhaven wealth. You keep a calm demeanor as you try to talk down the mob. It takes some effort, but the men finally agree to turn the thief over to the authorities, which stops the situation from devolving into chaos. So I get a prosperity. Great. I don't really know what that... I guess that just means that it's saved, basically. All right. Let's take another look at the merchant here. I don't have anything right now, right? Is the idea here. Oh, these are your perks. Okay, so you've got your mercenary selection. You've got your cards that are available. Mercenaries will unlock new and more powerful ability cards each time they level up. Look for synergies between ability cards and adapt your hand depending on the enemy types you'll be facing. Having the right cards against the right enemies might just keep you alive. On the ability panel, you can edit the deck of cards you take to a dungeon. Each mercenary has a different amount of cards they can carry and can only go adventuring with a fully equipped hand. Hover over the ability to view their full description. Yep. Oh man, it's so nice just having this stuff sit here. Ooh. So here's the 3 what they call X abilities. So you have your standard starting abilities. The brute starts with 10, and then you have each character class has a couple of extra starting abilities that are a little more advanced that you can select if you so choose. So this one's giving you 2 abilities. 35 is the initiative value, determines when the character will act in the round. This is really important in terms of setting up. Do you want your team to move first? Do you want your healer to go later so that he can heal damage that the brute took in the round? That kind of stuff. This will decide when you get to act. So as a tank, the brute is traditionally going to want to try to go early because he wants to get out in front of the enemies to soak up their damage or push them around and maybe get an early kill. So the 3 X abilities that he has access to are Skewer, attack 3, and if you can consume wind, yep, you get +1 attack and pierce, and you get an XP. It can hit 2 enemies in a line, and you don't have to burn it to do that, which is really nice. The brute has a couple of AoE attacks like this. This is really what this is like an area of effect where it hits multiple people. So that's pretty nice. And then he can burn this to get move 6, which is a ton of move and could make the difference, probably not in victory, but definitely in potentially like getting your hands on a treasure chest or something like that at the end of a mission. So that's an interesting ability because that top attack ability is pretty baller. Balanced measure is an ability I always liked too. Attack X, where X is the number of hexes you have moved so far this turn. Move X, where X is the amount of damage you've inflicted so far this turn. This combo is really interestingly with Skewer though, because as you can see, Skewer lets you move 6. Balanced measure would then let you attack 6. So, and that's a really powerful attack. I'm not actually interested in changing my deck quite yet. So this has some interesting potential uses, and you don't have to burn it, which is nice too. The brute isn't a big card burner in general, but it's interesting to have the option at least. And he has a fair amount of movement. Move 4, move 3. Move 3, move 4. Move 3. So he's getting a good amount of use out of this balanced measure in both respects, actually, because he has some good damage too. He's averaging probably 3 damage, maybe. Overwhelming Assault has 6 just straight up. Interesting. And then Wall of Doom. He can burn it for Retaliate 2 on self and Shield 2 on self. He gets 2 XP for using it. So that's really nice, but you do have to burn it. And then it's also got this ability, add +1 attack to all of your attacks this round, which is really interesting and again would synergize with this potentially. Interesting. I don't just know what I would get rid of necessarily though. Shield oneself, that's kind of an essential tank ability. I don't think I would ditch that. I like the push abilities. I don't want to get rid of any of those. If anything, I might get rid of grab and go. Disarm is really powerful. And there's that incredible tank ability where you can game people into attacking you when they can't possibly hit you. AoEs are really nice. This gets him, can get him a lot of XP potentially. I think I might pull that out and put in Wall of Doom. Morgoth and Kaz, I don't know the character classes well enough to mess around with the decks yet, for sure. I don't know why there's this. I don't know what this is trying to tell me. Okay. Oh, in the equipment panel, you'll find the different types of items a mercenary can carry. Clicking on an item slot will display all the items of that type. If it's displayed in gray, it means you currently have no items of that type. So you get a bunch of potential item slots. His is have 200 gold. Hers is donate 120 gold to the sanctuary. And his is complete 6 side scenarios. Okay. I think I might just wait on buying anything actually. Having played this many times, I'm pretty confident in my ability to get through the first mission without any purchases. So let's go back to Gloomhaven. Temple of the Great Oak. I like the art in this. It really doesn't. There's not a huge amount. It's kind of funny. There's not a huge amount of art in Gloomhaven actually. I don't recognize this picture. Maybe it's in there. Yeah, Temple of the Great Oak. Mercenaries will be blessed every time they give a donation of 10 gold to the Temple of the Great Oak. A blessed mercenary will gain 2 additional ×2 attack modifiers in the next dungeon. Remember, each mercenary has his or her own stash of gold and a personal inventory, so make sure you click on the right mercenary's portrait before you donate. Yeah. This is another one of those things, like doing this town stuff is such a pain in the ass in the physical version because you have to pass the decks around and everybody's kind of trying to do everything at the same time. And I intend to run a campaign of this where I'm playing with my friends online, and it's going to be so much easier to do it this way, I imagine. Yeah, so she's the one. She says donate 120 gold, but it doesn't say if it's just her. I assume it is. Ooh, what the hell is this? Oh, interesting. Different skins. Oh, yeah, okay. What about this Busta? Boneguard. Totally. I'm going with that. Alright. It's the first mission. I don't want to waste gold on blessings. I'm not trying to blitz to character transformations, so I think I'm good. Okay. So, that basically is the setup. We've got our party ready to go. Skelgarn, Morgoth, and Kaz. Kaz is looking too legit. I was hoping I could spin his character around, but apparently not. And we've got our first quest, Black Barrow. We're going to kill all the enemies in all rooms to complete that quest. And I think I'm going to actually call it there in this first video. The next video, we will travel to the Black Barrow because we're going to have a travel event in doing so when you're moving around the map. And then we'll get in there and we'll start crushing some scalies and bashing some bandits. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm really excited about this. This is a beautiful kind of rendition of this game that far exceeds my expectations, and I can't wait to get into it and really push past the kind of barriers that I've hit playing this game before, of just like time and setup and whatnot, and just really focus on cranking through quests and unlocking classes and stuff, because as much as I've played this game, I mean, I've even built custom terrain for this. I bought like a bunch of Hearst Arts molds. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, but they're basically these little rubber molds that you pour dental stone into, so that you can, and they're cut to make little pieces of terrain or parts of a piece of terrain, like walls and such. And so I bought a couple of Hearst Arts molds and a 50-pound bag of dental stone, and I was making, floor tiles and walls and stuff for this game for months, and it was really fun, and it's a fun part of the hobby, but it's a lot of work, and you're kind of never really done. And even if you did build a whole set for this whole game and you painted the whole thing, you have to store it, and it's massive and super heavy, and I just really like the idea of this game on PC. It just kind of streamlines everything. So I'm very excited. I hope you are too. I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, and I will talk to you later.